Hello, everyone. My name is Jacob Anderson, and welcome to MSAT. We are excited that you are joining our team. In this video, I will be giving you an introduction to MSAT as part of a new member program that is a series of videos, this being the first one. So, getting into it, MSAT is a satellite research team here at Missouri S&T. We are typically, or really consistently, over 50 members. Currently, at the time of this video, we're 70 to 80 members, but that fluctuates semester to semester. Our mission statement is to educate engineers of the future through satellite design, development, integration, testing, and flight. And coming from that, our team goal is to innovate small satellite technologies through designing, building, testing, and orbit, so flying these satellites. We have two primary sponsors, the Air Force Research Laboratory, Air4L, and NASA. So who is MSAT? MSAT is freshmen through graduate students. Given that you're not too young or too old to join the team, we have had many freshman students, graduating seniors, and graduate students do a phenomenal job when they join the team. And even so, we have had many first semester students, whether they're freshmen or graduate students, join the leadership team and do an awesome job as well. So when you first join the team and you see there's open leadership roles and you have the time to dedicate and put yourself in a leadership role, apply, talk to whoever's in charge of that role, and challenge yourself in that environment. And just remember, the point of this team is to learn, and you only learn by challenging yourself and putting yourself in a new environment. As far as majors, we have pretty much every engineering major on our team, though our team is primarily made of aerospace students because those are the ones who are typically interested in space applications such as satellites. But we do host a variety of students from MECI, EE, CompE, CompSci, and others. We are also a senior design class for many majors. So primarily, again, aerospace students can join MSAT for senior design, but we consistently work with the EE, CompE, CompSci, and mechanical engineering design groups. So our team is structured into two primary sub-teams, our resource management team and our mission leadership and mission teams. Both are overseen by Dr. Pernica, a aerospace professor. So our resource management team is led by the student director and the principal investigator. The principal investigator being Dr. P, our team advisor. And underneath them, you have the social media managers who run our social media and other platforms, our lab managers who handle the upkeep and safety in our lab as well as lab trainings, our proposal managers who handle the proposal process and the beginning of our missions, and our team managers who support day-to-day operations of the team, as well as support the new members like you watching this video. Our mission structure is structured as seen on the screen, led by the program manager and the chief engineer. You have 9 subsystems typically. Command data handling, which handles the hardware and software integration. Power, which handles power of the satellite. Communications. Propulsion. Guidance, navigation, and control. Structures. Assembly, integration, and testing. Thermal. And any special payloads being the last subsystem, where, for example, NS8, one of our previous missions, has a stereoscopic imaging system. So we have a specific subsystem for that payload. Moving into one of our sponsors, the University Nanosatellite Program, or UMP. This is a program sponsored by the Air Force Research Laboratory, and it's on a 2-year competition cycle. And because of that, when we get into these missions, we generally call it by the mission cycle for short. So Mr. and Mrs. is often referred to as NS8 because of the cycle it's a part of. And seeing at the bottom, it first started with NS1 in 2003. It increments every 2 years. So NS8 was in 2015, NS11 in 2021, and so forth. So let's move into how UMP sponsors its missions. Prior to phase A, you have a proposal phase where universities accepted into the UMP program can submit a proposal. If that proposal gets accepted, then you move into phase A. When you enter phase A, you get an initial round of funding for that 2-year period where you spend it to start your development and design of the satellite. At the end of this 2-year process, you have the Flight Selection Review, or FSR, where all these schools come together in a competition-like setting and present to UMP on why their missions should continue its funding and continue its development. Typically, out of these 10 to 15 schools, only 1 to 3, at most 5, will get into phase B. From there, in phase B, you get a second round of funding to complete the satellite. So while you're still in the engineering design unit phase, EDU phase, you'll have yearly interim reviews where Airfoil will come out to you and conduct a review on your progress to flight integration. Right before flight integration, once you're wrapped up with all your EDU designing, development, and testing, you have the pre-integration review, PIR. This is a pass or fail review where if you pass, you move into flight integration. If you fail, then Airfoil will either cut funding or say, hey, try again next year. We'll give you one more year of support. So when you get into flight integration, you so if you pass PIR, like I said, you go into flight integration. This is typically a 1 to 2 year process, depending on complexity of the satellite. And at the end of this, you have the pre-ship review, where you have your completed flight unit of the satellite, and you conduct a similar review to PIR, just with your flight unit. Again, this is a pass or fail, where if you fail, they could cut support or say, hey, try again. And if you pass, then you go into phase C, where phase C is where Airfoil will take the satellite, conduct environmental testing for it, and do any launch preparations necessary prior to launch. Then phase D is actually getting launched into space, doing space operations or satellite operations and completing the mission. Moving on to some more team logistics, we have general meetings bi-weekly on Wednesdays. These are typically at 4 p.m. and the location varies every semester based on what room we can book, but it is always somewhere in Toomey Hall. We also have team trainings on a bi-weekly basis opposite of the general meetings. Again, same time at 4 p.m. It's typically in the same place as the general meetings unless a computer lab is needed or some special accommodation is needed for the training. We have subsystem meetings, which occur on a weekly basis. This is typically in BalloonSat or Toomey 311, but this can vary also. We have project work days where whatever project you're on, the team you're working with will get together in the lab or in the SSE lab, which is where MSAT operates, or a computer lab, or anywhere you guys need to meet. This typically happens on a weekly basis, and sometimes your team will meet up multiple times a week. And then individual work kind of varies depending on how the work days go and if you need to do extra work outside of those work days or if your team wasn't able to meet that week, for example. There's a lot of scenarios where you can do individual work on your own. So as I kind of alluded to, the SSE lab is the Space Systems Engineering Lab. This is in Toomey 315, and this is where MSAT, the team, does a majority of its operations. You need to take a electrostatic discharge, ESD training, and pass it to gain card access just to make sure that when you're in the lab, you're following safety protocols when it comes to electronics, because we have a lot of expensive electronics in the lab and we don't want anything to break on accident. You can be allowed in the lab and work with others prior to passing the ESD quiz, but that does need to be under supervision, just so nothing is getting accidentally broke. Weekly updates. So if you're a senior design student, whether you're aerospace or another major, these are required, as these will get reported back to either Dr. P or whoever professor is in charge of your senior design, as well as subsystem leads, because we want our leads to be providing feedback and updating our management team. For the rest of the team, it's highly encouraged. Uh, this is for multiple reasons. Dr. Pernica, our advisor, and our RM team, so resource management team, use these updates to track how the team is doing as a whole, to address any issues or problems that might arise. So in these updates, feel free to list out, any issues you're having, any trainings that you think you would need, or also what's going good. So essentially, it helps us track the team's updates, helps us stay aware of any challenges facing the team, and allows us to provide resources if needed to the team. So our team resources, so we use Microsoft Teams for all of our file storage, team communication, and any old trainings or just training resources in general. We have a team YouTube, a team website, and we also utilize overleaf.com. Overleaf is how we document all of our documentation on the team. It's a mix of Word and coding, but don't let that scare you. It's very simple, very easy to learn, and it's a great resume booster. So what's next in the new member program? You will watch some videos on the missions to get an overview of the team's current missions. There'll be a video for the SSE lab tour to kind of give you an introduction to the lab without having to actually go there, along with the ESD quiz that will supplement that. A current leadership and mission status, going over the current leadership of the team, their contact information if you want to reach out, and the mission status of each mission so that you can know where the help is needed and where it's not. Also, we'll have an introduction to Teams to show you how we utilize Teams and how everything's organized so that you're able to find all the resources in there, and a end of new member program wrap up. So thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.